Welcome to the Chain Out Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Darryl.
Hey everyone, welcome to Chain Out Podcast. I'm Jeremy. With me as always is your favorite co-host, Darryl. How's it going, pal?
Doing fantastic.
And
Seems like we're into a new era of podcasting.
Yes, almost like a second season of podcasting, I'd say.
Something like that, yeah. Although we're calling it episode 51.
Yeah, that's the conundrum of it.
Season 2, episode 1, or season
1 extended, episode 51, something like
we'll,
that.
We'll come to an agreement on when season 2 starts, but
well, no matter what,
here.
We've started a new format.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in this version of Chain Out that you're watching tonight, we're going to give you an interview, and we're going to have an hour interview. And then after that, what are we going to do, Darryl? We're going to have a second episode.
Second episode, it's going to be, there's going to be a link that you're going to have to click. It's going to be kind of a private link that we're going to share for a couple weeks, just to wait until we get used to the format of this. But we're going to have this interview first hour, and then going to go a little bit more relaxed, a bit more of an informal discussion in our second hour for that side of the podcast. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, and for that one, we've decided to bring on some hosts of another podcast, Clive Lovett and Carrie Neal from the Flight Paths podcast.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. It's going to be new. It's going to be exciting, and we can't wait for you to join us. But before that, we're super excited because we're going to have some guests on from the other side of the world.
We've done the other side of the country before,
but we've never done the other side of the world.
It's amazing.
We're going down under, baby. Is that better than earlier when I tried? Or
no, that still sounds English.
Crikey. We are going to go live to Australia, and we're going to have two guests on from Team Canada. We're going to have Karen Martel, one of the FPOs playing in the tournament, and we're also going to have Chris Brown, supporter MPO from Canada. I think Chris has probably been doing a lot of heavy lifting, maybe carrying some bags and doing other things like that while he's down there. But we'll find out all about that stuff. That's for sure.
We always talk about unsung heroes, Jeremy. So we're glad that we could have Chris on the podcast as well.
Yeah. So we're going to be going to Perth, Australia, and I got to look at the outline here, Darryl, to get this right. So where Team Canada is competing at the World Flying Disc Federation's World Team Disc Golf Championship.
It's quite the mouthful.
Yeah. I think the best way to do it is to say the WFDF World Team DGC. So all those people who say we use a lot of acronyms, I think this is probably the biggest one that we've ever had to.
And this one is justified.
Yes, that's right. And as we speak to Team Canada, they are currently in pool play for the first round. We'll get a whole bunch of details from that. For what we understand, Chris has a real good grasp of what's going on. They're just about to finish round 1, or the first part of pool play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Darryl will share you links so that we can actually, if you wanted to watch from home, if you want to watch some of the live matches, because there's going to be a few matches that they're airing. Unfortunately, I didn't see any Team Canada's yet, but maybe that'll be in the following rounds.
Yeah.
So that'll be good there. And what else do we have here? I think that's about it.
I think that's it. I think we should get these guests on, Jeremy.
Yeah.
They've been waiting in the wings.
They have. So let's get Karen Martel and Chris Brown onto the show.
Yeah.
And I think they're coming. Hey.
Hey. Hello.
Hey, Karen. Hey, Chris. Welcome. Good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're so excited you could join us tonight, or I guess, is it tomorrow morning? Is that when it is?
Yeah,
tomorrow morning. We're like 13 hours ahead.
Wow. So talk about, I've done some flying across Canada and that, and had a few time changes that way. Is this the biggest time change you could ever run into, I'm expecting?
Oh, for me, yes, but I don't.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice. So we're looking at 10 o'clock in the morning. You've had your breakfast, you've put that under your belt, and Team Canada has just gone out and started to play their last round of pool play. Is that correct?
Yeah, we walked on the few first hole, and we came back for the interview. But yeah, it's an exciting year.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we thought we would start by asking you a little bit about Australia, and then we'll get into the tournament and everything else. How long ago did you guys get into Australia? You've been there just a few days? Has it been a week? What's it been?
So we was in Sydney on Wednesday,
Thursday.
Thursday. So
We left on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We got here on Thursday.
yeah, that was a long,
Oh,
long flight.
While we're
Like
talking
the-
about
mental-
the flights, when we interviewed you last time, I think you said that you only been on a plane once, Karen.
Yeah.
How
for-
was
for
how was the
Thunder
flight
Bay.
for you?
Oh, I was just very happy to have Chris and Colleen with me because it's a bit overwhelming, like all the things that you need to be aware of. So but that was okay, but it's not very a fun part of the travel.
Exactly. Well, you've only got to do it another. What's that, Chris?
I think our total travel time was something around just under 30 hours, 26 hours from when we left to when we got here.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Never flown.
And also, I drove from Quebec to Toronto
Yeah.
before taking it with
Oh
us.
my goodness.
And what was that, like a 6-7 hour drive, or how far to start
Uh,
off?
yeah, 7 hours.
Nice. Now, the other thing that people probably don't realize about Australia is, as you said, you flew into Sydney, but even though you were in Australia, you were still nowhere near where Perth is. Is that correct? They're opposite sides of the island? Country?
Yeah, that was a 5 hour flight.
The equivalence between Sydney and Perth is basically Vancouver and Toronto. So that's the
Wow.
size.
Right. So then
And it's very different. Like both sides are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sydney is very lush and green and full of water. This is mostly arid, deserty kind of stuff.
Yeah, dry. Yeah.
Oh, so that is kind of like being in the Niagara escarpment and then coming out to Alberta, probably. Maybe similar that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So being that you guys had landed in Sydney first, I was enjoying the Instagram posts. Tell us a little bit. You guys got to do some touring around and actually be a tourist before the tournament started?
Yeah, we warm up our legs for sure. We walk around the city visiting almost like the most we can for sure, and we saw some nice surprise thing like the botanical garden.
Yeah.
Like that was
They
very,
have a really nice free botanical garden here on the northeast side that we just walked around for a few minutes. It was great.
A museum like the barracks was also very interesting and for free. So that was
Yeah, a lot of free things to do here. Fantastic.
yes.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
and the last night we was there, the evening we had a ghost festival for the Halloween. So
Oh,
Very
Oh,
fun.
right.
and what happened in the Ghost Festival?
It was just like they had like food trucks and music playing. It was just like down by the pier. It was like a typical festival you'd have down there. But then I think Halloween here, I could be wrong. Sorry for any Australians, but I think Halloween here is relatively new. Like as far as they didn't celebrate it too much until recently, until kind of American culture came over.
Oh, okay.
So they really are on Halloween. Everybody really, really digs deep into it.
yeah, all the costume was very like big commitment, and they did it very great. And they have like a silent DJ that we didn't saw. That was
One of those silent discos.
Yeah, we just happened to walk them in on it too. We were just walking down to the pier and we just walked in there and it was just going on. It was perfect.
Okay.
Right. Sounds like it's full of festivities and lots of things to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to the zoo actually, Topanga Zoo.
Great, yeah.
That's fantastic.
It looked
Yeah.
like there was a lot of reptiles maybe, and just lots of different animals that maybe Canadians aren't used to seeing at that zoo. Is that correct?
Yeah, like it depends on which zoo you go to. Some zoos have all these animals as well, but
Yeah.
it was pretty extensive from a lot of places all over the world. So I wouldn't say it was like an Australia centric zoo.
yeah. The funny
Okay.
part is the first kangaroo we saw was in the zoo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, for sure.
That'd be like
Yeah,
putting
but
some Canadian geese in the zoo over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for sure. So that's cool. And I know when you were talking about the botanical garden and that, is that maybe where that tree was with all those roots and stuff? I don't know what those trees are called, but it looked like something I've never seen before.
No.
That tree was just on the side of the road, walking towards the botanical gardens. Actually,
Oh,
that was
okay.
just a generic tree.
Yeah, there is a lot of different nice big tree, like all the colors, the leaves, everything is so different from Quebec.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Well, I'm thinking one of the
Yeah.
best things about landing in Australia had to be, especially yesterday here in Alberta, we got a little skiff of snow and it's been cold. How has the weather been since you guys have landed and got there?
I was expecting much warm than what we have now, but I think next week will be warmer. But I was like training for hot weather. But
Right.
we have like 12, 13
Yeah,
degrees.
like it's nice. It bounces in between 12 and 20 degrees,
20.
especially being so dry. You could be in the sun cooking and then in the shade freezing.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
saw a video that Thomas put out there that he played 9 holes, and you see him wearing the wide brimmed hat there, and he said that the temperature wasn't so bad, but it was the UV that's quite dangerous out there, right?
Also, when he filmed it, that was so. Apparently, last week it was 30 degrees here, and now it's 15. So he played in warm weather, and we're getting kind of almost perfect cool weather for disc golf.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah, because the first day was here, but in Sydney we got to Bundy Beach, so yeah, that was our like most warm days.
okay. Well, and Bondi Beach is like the famous beach, and did it live up to everything that you expected it to be?
Yeah,
It was nice. It was a beach, but yeah, it was nice. Yeah, they had a very limited swimming area because the rest of it was dedicated to surfing and kind of riptides and stuff like that were a problem. So
Oh,
Well, I think the other thing, Chris, I've got to remember is the fact that your guys are in Ontario, you're in Quebec, that's where you normally are, and there are abundance of beaches in that area of Canada. We're out in Alberta, you have a lake that has a little bit of dirt, and they call it a beach. So,
okay, yeah, yeah, you guys would love it, man. It was a great beach.
yeah, there you go. Well, we want to get into some of the Team Canada talk, but before that, I want to just run a list through for all of our listeners who may not know everybody that headed down to Australia. So we've got Casey Hannemeyer, Colleen McInnes, Dave Ross, Hector Dykow, the one Karen Martell in front of us here, Christy Lee, Max Regitnik, Noah Higgins, Sophia Donica, Stuart McKissick. No, I'm not done yet, guys. I'm still going. Thomas Gilbert and team captain Craig Sheether. What a team, hey?
Yeah, it's a big thing, and we have a lot of support also because we have 7 caddies.
Seven caddies or support staff
Yeah.
with Jeremy Jum and myself. I don't want to get too crazy trying to name everybody because I'm going to forget somebody,
Yeah.
but there's a bunch who came down to help.
Oh, that's great. And what was it like? When did everybody come together for the first time? Was that just a couple days ago before the tournament started?
Yeah, sorry, we
It's okay.
No worries.
Here. Yeah, so on Monday we got to our house that is like a retreat. So we have like all the room with our bathroom, and we have like a big kitchen to have dinner together. So yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a nice place, and we can like share and talk because I don't know much about like I know Colleen, I know Chris, but like people in BC, for me, a couple of those are the first time that I saw them. So it's nice to know more about them, and some have like big experience, like this golf experience. So it's nice to share with them.
Yeah. And how has that experience been? Like you're meeting them for the first time, you're sharing a house together now. Has the team really bonded together, like you said, about sharing information and just getting to know them?
So yeah, I think everything's going very great, and I think everyone is helping together. It's a nice team because I'm new to all this match play, and yeah, I'm happy to have like other people to help me, and yeah, I, I don't know if you have something
No,
to
no, no.
say more.
It's been good. We've been we're about we're about we're staying about 20 minutes, 30-minute walk from the course, so it's not that bad to walk. But we've had a couple people who have rented cars or moving us around, getting us to and from.
Right.
It's helpful. So everything's going good. We're gonna have a
And-
team here sometime in the next couple of days, which is also nice.
Right. And how have you? How much have you been leaning on Craig? Has he been showing you around and telling you which rocks not to look underneath and what, check your boots before you put them on and things like that? That's what I always think about when I go to. If I'm ever going to go to Australia, I just don't think I will be. But
The sport is not bad at all. I like on the course we didn't see like weird thing. I think and
No.
so, like we have bird like loud bird, but no snakes, no big spider. So yeah,
Nothing surprising as
No.
of yet. And Craig keeps a lot of things close to the chest, so I don't know if we'll get. He'll let us learn for ourselves what rocks to flip over.
Gotcha. Well, it's probably one of those things too, is maybe what he'll do is he'll tell you after the fact, once you guys are back on the plane heading home. Oh, by the way, Karen, do you remember when you were on hole 3 and there was a big snake that could have took you down, but it wasn't close enough for me to tell you. So don't worry about it. Something like that.
Yeah,
So-
I saw a turtle. It's cute and a little lizard. So for now, it's yeah, it's better than like everyone was talking to me before I left for Australia. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, everything will kill you there." And I'm like no, it's
Yeah.
great.
That's good. Yeah, they need to maybe battle that a little bit just to make it. Maybe that's a way to balance the tourism so it doesn't get too much.
Oh,
But-
maybe.
Yeah. Well, as you said too, is it would be interesting in the team environment of it and coming together as a team, because we don't really normally feel that in disc golf. It feels like an individual sport where you go out, you compete against the course, and there happen to be other people there competing against the course as well. So did it take a little bit for you to kind of figure out how to be a team, or was it pretty natural that you guys all just came together?
I think a lot of members of the team have the experience of that. For me, the Pan American last year was my first event like that, so I had to adapt myself to it. But now it's like I'm more used to it. But yeah, it's a different minding. It's a you need to think about everyone. I think you can just think about you and yeah. But I think the team is good, doing great.
Well, to add to that, we this team is, I would say, 80% the same team that came to Croatia 2 years ago. I think we had five or six new additions to come to this one as opposed to Croatia. So these guys, the majority of the team have been playing together for years. They've been doing this for years. They know what to do to expect. And then that makes it easier for them to incorporate new players like Karen,
Yeah.
who maybe just need a guiding hand to figure out what the next steps are, and they do a great job of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good input there, Chris. And then also for you, how long did it take for the support team and the caddies to come together, or was that just pretty much have a beer and everybody was on board?
Yeah, it's everybody's here for one reason, and we all know that. So
That's good.
it's just
Well, also too, as you were getting down there and then you get over to Perth, did you get a chance to play a number of practice rounds? And I guess that would be both for you, Karen, and then Chris, did you get a chance? Is that a moment where you did have an opportunity to play?
Yeah, you mean if we
here.
yeah. We practice like we have 2 courses, so I practice. Monday was rough because we just flew in the morning, so that was for me not a practice. That was more just to shake the rust.
Gotcha.
So yeah, on Monday, Tuesday.
And Sunday.
Oh, and Sunday? Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, Sunday,
Sorry.
Monday,
So everything is merged in my. So yeah, the practice was like the last one was very good, and like when we started yesterday, I was feeling like normal Karen.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's where you
The
want to
course
be.
are, yeah, and the course are like have very big distance, so it's
Oh.
a good thing for us.
Yeah, this course is on an old, or it might even be running. It's on a golf course, and they have two here. They're all, I would say, pretty typical golf course holes where it's a long distance and followed by like a medium distance a lot of the times, or hit a gap and do it and then go into another gap. So
Right.
learning shots was quite important, and we had 2 practice rounds books per day.
Okay.
So you could which rounds you wanted to play and which one you wanted to practice. So everybody got their time.
Right.
Yeah, and I played on the original course, and today it's all like the new world course,
Mhm.
right?
So we have
So-
the Mundering course, which is the city we're in is Mundering. They
Right.
call it the Mundering course or the original course, and then they also have the World course. And they actually designed and it's a little bit loose, but each hole against I got a hole from each country. So like
Right.
Raptors Knoll had a hole.
Oh, that's cool.
And like either every country had a hole where they took one of their holes, and I don't know if they designed it or they just put it there. I'm not sure.
Right.
But
Mhm.
That kind of makes sense now because I did see on Thomas's video there that one of the tee signs had Winthrop written underneath it. So I'm assuming that would be one of the courses they took a hole from. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, on the map of all the course, you have like all the flag
Okay.
over the number of the holes. Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
I just want to forewarn you guys. The match this morning it seems to be ending, so it might get a little busy in here. So sorry if we have trouble talking
Yeah.
with you.
Oh yeah. No, that's fine. We're
Okay.
we're appreciative of your time, and we'll work around whatever happens.
Yep. And if people just want to throw their face in, they can do that as they walk by. I guess it all depends on how things went this morning. Hey, so
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
can you tell, like, are you getting a vibe yet as they're walking in?
We can't see the Canadians yet.
Okay.
I just saw the finished team.
Oh,
I'm not
okay,
sure.
okay. Because you guys are in a clubhouse is where you're at. You're not actually at the Team Canada house. Okay, that's what you meant.
No, yeah.
Right.
This is like the main clubhouse. They have a bar and a food area and a bunch of tables and stuff. And then the organizers are on the other side of
Yeah.
the wall over
And
here.
right here we have
Here,
the
we're gonna
18
give,
green.
We're going to give you
Yeah.
a quick
Oh, yeah.
down of
Oh,
Look
wow.
at that.
yeah, you see all the flags there?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you for showing us from that angle, too. That's amazing.
That's why we keep looking at it that way, because we keep seeing people putting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, we're glad you're doing double duty, so you turn your head as much as you need.
Sorry, now we got to readjust this.
Well, so Chris, when you were saying that they designed a hole after Raptors Knoll, like, so there's a big, huge eagle out there where you have to get it right on there, otherwise you're off in the hazard. Is that what they did?
I wish. I was talking with Stu about it, who was primary in designing Raptors Knoll, and he couldn't recognize how it was similar. So I don't think I would.
It's there in spirit.
That's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
So we did talk about you guys coming together and starting to bond as Team Canada. But then when the event started, was that your first real good chance to see how many people have come out for this tournament and see all of the countries together at once? And if so, what was that experience like?
To see everyone. Sorry, I just.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So we had 23 countries show up, each bringing minimum 6, maximum whatever 15, 17 that we brought, and so there's a lot of people, just a lot of moving parts, a lot of people around, and then again, a lot of our team has been doing this for years, so usually it's the same people every year. So you're meeting friends and people you played against in the past, and they're all, much like going to a tournament and you see people you know, and you just pick up where you were last time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, that's good. And it looked like they did put on kind of a nice opening ceremonies type event where it was a parade of nations and everyone was dressed in their uniforms, bringing their flags out. It looked like there might have been a person playing a didgeridoo there and some speakers. And was it just kind of, did it give a good start and a good feel to the beginning of the event?
Yeah, I think it's the most official way to do it. Like the walk is, you're carrying the flag, and it's every team was very like together, and that was a nice part to also listen like the speech about the First Nation here. So
Yeah.
that was very interesting, and the
Yeah.
didgeridoo was something different.
Yeah. Well, like Jeremy was mentioning there, we seen the Parade of Nations and everybody was dressed up in their uniforms. I didn't quite catch who carried the Canadian flag, and I know you mentioned before that you'd carried it twice. Do you know who? Well, obviously you
That,
must know, but who carried it this time?
that was Hector.
Okay.
Hector Diak.
Oh yeah.
So it
Yeah,
wasn't
I
Karen.
had to carry.
Wasn't Karen this time? Maybe for closing ceremonies.
Didn't get the three-peat.
No, I'm good. It's
You're good.
like 2 euro. It's enough.
So then, talking about the tournament itself, this one, as we said, it's truly a team event, and it has singles and doubles competitions. And I don't know, Karen, Chris, however you want to take this one. Can you guys explain a little bit how the match play works, and both in the singles and doubles? Because I think that is confusing to a lot of our listeners, because we're just used to playing our own individual rounds.
Yeah.
So the way it works is we'll have 2 singles matches. So let me actually start originally. Everybody is ranked based on rating at a certain time. So if we put in 3 MPOs, then you can't order them as you will. It would be like your highest rated, your second is your MPO 1, your second highest is your MPO 2, your third highest is your MPO 3. And
Okay.
so you don't have much to say as far as who goes where. You can just like bench someone to move somebody up, but you don't have much decision in that regard. So they'll do 2 singles matches and then
Right.
2 doubles matches, and then we'll have 2 cards. So 2 singles matches against, let's say, we're out there against Nora right now. So
Right.
if I pull it up, I think it was Casey versus their MPO 1,
Okay.
and who's on the MPO? Who's on Sophia?
Sophia,
Was she playing
With-
singles?
singles against
Yeah.
FPO1.
Yeah. So then Sophia was playing singles against their FBO 1, so against Norway's FBO 1, and then the 2 doubles matches were alternate shot against the other opponent. So each match is worth 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie,
Okay.
0 points for a loss.
Right.
And
You
sort
kind
lost
of-
my train of thought here.
Well,
Question was-
I have a question there as soon as you mentioned it. You're mentioning about the ties. How can you get a tie? Because obviously we see match play. You're 3 up with 2 holes to play, which means that you've won. There's no point in continuing the rest of the round there. How do the ties come into play?
That makes sense. Okay, so if you each win the same amount of holes, or you just push the entire way, then you get a tie. So we play 9-hole matches for the round robin, so the pool play, and then for the playoffs it'll be 18-hole matches. But yeah, if you just happen to push everything or go up and down equally, and then you tie,
Right.
you get a tie, and it's 1 point. Both teams get 1 point.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then the way they also broke it out, is it right too, Chris, is that there's 4 pools at the moment, and everybody's playing within their pool kind of in a round robin setup, and then that's going to determine where you rank in your pool. And help me if I'm going astray, but then there's going to be the second part of the competition.
Yeah, so the pool play determines where you think the top 4 from each division, because there's 4 divisions, will go into the final 16. The bottom X amount will go into a secondary pool. It's the secondary pool where they'll play for 17th to 23rd. And then at that point, it's still the same format with the 4 different rounds of 2 doubles, 2 singles, and then you're playing 18-hole matches.
Oh, okay.
And if you win that, if you get more points than your team, then you move on to the next, and then if you lose, you go down to the bottom bracket till you're finally seeded 1 to 23.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes. After yesterday, we had 18 points, sitting at third.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah.
18 points. 18 points. We were sitting 3rd out of 6 in our division.
Okay.
We definitely have the hardest division.
Yeah.
Well, and
If you're
speaking of that hard division, we can just kind of list for you. I have them in front of me. Is that you've got Australia in there, China, Latvia, Norway, and Germany. So that does sound like some pretty big powerhouse disc golf countries.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, I would say that the match yesterday was easier. Like the China and Latvia was like a bit easier.
Yeah, so we usually, Craig does a lot of homework about what to expect while we're here and the teams that are coming and their ratings and everything like that. And we definitely thought some of the teams, like for instance China, who is new this year, and Latvia a couple of times, but we thought that they were going to be easier. And then they came out and they could all play. Though nobody here can't play.
Right.
So they kind of took a surprise on a few of the teams that just like that we kind of thought were going to be, maybe guaranteed 8 points, and then we would split them 50-50. It's like, wow, that was impressive. So
Bit of a surprise, bit of an upset.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a real good mark of how disc golf has grown over the last few years and how it's kind of growing around the world. Because you're right, you would have thought that maybe a country showed up and they brought some players and it might have been the equivalent to the Olympics there with the breakdancer. It was more of a fun moment as opposed to a competitive moment. But if everybody's competing like at that level, that's just a great thing to see.
Yeah, and also I think with the rating around the world, you can look at the number, but it's not telling like the truth. Like it's just a number. So in that type of game, it's a bit different. Like you win the hole or you lose the hole. But if you have a 6 on it or a 4, it's not very like it's not the same thing. It's if you don't like if you're not able to close the hole and you are like 3-putting in like your real game, it's not like the same impact on that game. So yeah, I don't know like if it's I don't know if I'm say right, but yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I would think with that, Karen, that would be one of those things where where if you're a 1,000 rated player, a 900 rated player, or an 850 rated player, if you throw a bad shot, you could lose that hole. It doesn't matter how high your rating is. You have to be able to perform at that moment when it counts. So that's interesting. And speaking of performing at that moment, and I don't trust me on this, I didn't see it because it doesn't show it quite there. Who have you had a chance to play against so far, Karen, and how did your matches go?
Yeah, so I played against China and Latvia, and I was surprised about my play, I think, but I was also surprised about their play, and that was great. I think the thing that was good for me, it's 9-hole, it's quick, and it's not like endurance is not really there, so it's good for me. Like the 9 holes. It's a good format for my game, I think. So yeah, but that was 2 great match, and I was happy to. The first match I played with Dave, and he just put the disc under the basket like all the time, so I didn't have. So second match, I was happy to have some putt, and I did some great putt, like confident one. So I was very happy with that.
Karen
Well, I
did very
don't. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Karen did very well. She won both the matches that she put up against. So the only one who's gone undefeated so far.
Yeah.
Way to go, Karen.
Yeah.
That deserves a round of applause, I think.
Does.
Yeah,
It does.
that's awesome.
That was your round of
That
applause.
was a round of applause. It wasn't rain or anything like that. I know you haven't heard that in a while. Speaking about, like you said, Dave putting it under the basket there, I seen a post from Noah on social media about he was pleasantly surprised that his discs flew kind of the same as they did back in Canada. Have you experienced the same thing? It's kind of not too much relearning of your discs?
For me, I think Colin said the same thing. It's a bit flippier, like just a bit.
Oh, okay.
And it's windy outside, so it's We have like just a bit of adjustment to do. Like I'm more in the overstable part of my bag right now.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, and you had mentioned Dave Ross there, and I know we haven't had a chance to talk or interview, or we haven't spoke much about him, but talk about a legend from BC. And for those people who are listening or watching and don't know, Dave's been playing for a long time. He putts for, I think, hours on end. So the one thing about that, even though he put it under the basket, at least you know if a putt's missed, you've got a great person backing you up as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think what I learned, what I feel with Dave, it's that was a calm vibe, and he have a lot of experience about all this match. So that was a great way for me to start the tournament and to become and like the nerves wasn't there at all. So I like how he see the game, and yeah, I like his vibe and also his skills. Like he put well, and yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah.
We can see like all those years like together and
Well, the
like
experience.
yeah, the experience is awesome. Yeah,
Well, and
you know Dave than me, I think so.
Yes. So Dave's been to, and I may be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure he's been to all 5
Wow.
the WTTGCs. The first one being in Canada.
right.
So he has the experience to do
Yeah.
all of this very well.
I wish he was my caddy all the time.
No, that's awesome. Well, and Chris, maybe you can tell us from your side of what you've seen as you as well, Karen. Is so you said that China and Latvia were a couple teams that maybe surprised you. As you're watching the tournament start to unfold, are you seeing, like, we know Canada's a powerhouse, we always are, and we're always going to step up and compete. But who out there would be some other ones that we've got to keep our eye on, especially when it gets to the next stage of play?
So we're closely looking at, I don't know if I should say this, but we're closely looking at where our seeding puts us in like the quarters and the semifinals. So we're looking at who we would go through, because like if we come third, we'll play. Well, this is our path. If we come second, this is our path.
Yeah.
And right now, Estonia is definitely the heavy favorites.
Right.
Okay.
They have only drew 1 match so far.
Okay.
They brought in a fantastic team, so they're but there's a ton of every division has teams that can compete. Great Britain, Australia, Finland, the Czechs, France, they're all up there doing really well. So it doesn't matter which way we go, we're going to have some tough matches ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and Chris, I'm gonna say thank you for taking that as lightly and as best as you could, because yeah, I'm realizing as well as we're in the middle of a tournament and there's a lot of strategy that has to be done, and you're sitting in a clubhouse where there's other teams. So let's just say every team has got a good chance, and we're gonna have to fight against whoever we come up against. Is that fair?
That's fair. Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's awesome. Now, as we get towards the end of having a chat with you here, we'd like to know, have you seen any really exciting moments, or has there been anything that's really made you go, wow, or awe throughout the tournament, whether it's in one of our matches or in one of the other ones you've had a chance to see?
You know what? I film like everything, but I don't know what moment I have in mind right now. You have one?
It's tough to say. The Parade of Nations is always fantastic to see everybody coming together, and it's just like a long line. Like we had to block a road off because the line was too long to fit in the park. And we went out into the parking lot, so like they blocked the road for us, and that many people being here is always exciting. They've all committed just as much as we have to come to Australia. Some from very far away, some from less far, but still a commitment nonetheless. It's always good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always good to see support, no matter what shape or form it comes in. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of support, Jeremy, I just want to see if I can flash this up on the screen here. We got some people in the chat, and Kevin sends out a good luck message to Team Canada Down Under as well. So you've definitely got some support back here as well, as you would know anyway.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And thank you.
Now, have you heard at all from the company that's filming the rounds? We saw in the first set that there was a number of the other countries were represented. Is Team Canada guaranteed to be on a televised round? No.
No, I think maybe they like want to have us later if we go there.
So it, anybody about this, I'm speculating, but it definitely seems like
No.
we seem to be jumping around. Are we okay?
Yeah, you're okay right now. We can hear you.
Yep, you're back.
It seems that they have picked for the round robins a lot of the newer teams and a lot of the teams that maybe won't have a chance to make it all the way to the end. So we're hoping that as we get into the playoffs, things will get better, and then if we can make it far enough, we'll have a chance to show you guys what we can do.
Awesome.
Yeah, we look forward to it.
Well, that's great. We will watch for that for sure. Oh, go ahead, Karen.
I would say for now I'm bringing the most like video and picture that I can for that people can follow like the action. But yeah,
Colleen and Sophia just walked in the door.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, what we'll do
they
is
look happy?
Do everything, but maybe we can, if you're on for a couple more minutes, one of them will hop on and say hi.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a quick pop in there. And we were just about to wrap up, and we're so thankful that you guys were able to take the time and join with us. It really means a lot to us, and we appreciate it. It just helps bring more attention to Canada, whether we're playing in an A tier in BC or playing in an A tier out in PEI, or if we're playing in a world championship tournament in Australia. It's just great to talk about disc golf and Canadian especially.
Yeah, thank you for having us, because I think it's very important to that people know more about this event and why we are here and why it's important for our development of the sport in our country, I think.
Yeah.
Hey!
And we really appreciate you taking the time as well. We know Craig probably really wanted to have Team Canada. Hey!
Hi, Sophia.
Hey,
Hey, look at this. We're getting the dream team now.
Oh, my goodness. We've got all the big name Canadian FPOs in one frame all at the same time. This is so exciting. Welcome. How did it go out there? You guys are just coming in?
Yes, so we were up against Norway, which was the top-ranked team in our kind of category, and me and Stuart played alt shot, and we tied against Anniken Steen, and I forgot her partner's name, but another MP player.
Wow.
And Thomas took down his match pretty handily. It was cool to see some of his shots.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then other two matches. So we got 3 points against them, which is great.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah, they're definitely a strong team, and, bringing in some pro players just like we are. So,
yeah, so depending on how the rest of it goes is going to be where we're seated. So we'll just have to wait until the last few cards come in to figure out if we're first, second, third, or fourth, and then who we will play from that.
Oh, well, we've been following. We were talking to Chris. He did a great job breaking down the pools. Karen's been giving us a good feel for how the tournament's going and how she's undefeated so far, which we're very proud of her for. So, but no, that's fantastic how well you guys are doing, and thank you for joining us here. Darryl, do you have anything before we wrap up?
Well, we were just asking Karen and Chris there if they had any memorable moments so far. Now that you've just come back in there, we want to offer it to you as well. Is there anything that's been a kind of a standout moment for you so far? not to put you on the spot.
Kind of the wildlife, I guess. The first practice round we played, we were just with a big group, like a mob card on the second hole, and we turned around and saw a kookaburra in the tree. So
nice.
That was really cool to see the kind of they're just everywhere. And I think some of the guys had a great story about seeing a giant lizard.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah, we were. Oops, sorry. Let me get this back onto here. Yeah, we were mentioning there about is Craig kind of giving you guys the the lowdown, the where to step, where not to step, which rocks not to turn over, and things like that? Is it, Karen was mentioning that it hasn't been too bad out there for you guys at the moment.
And I think just before we let you answer that, Colleen, I would want to say we could all think back to the Thunder Bay
Right.
Canadian Nationals, and we know there is a specific type of animal that you do not want to run into down in Australia.
Yeah, luckily, I guess the course maintenance guy was saying that the snakes are not prevalent here, so he doesn't see a lot that are on the course. Like, they are in this area, but just not on the course. So there's a lot of footwork right now, a lot of people walking around to scare them away. But we've been going and clapping as we walk along. And we got told, don't step over a log, step on it so that you don't accidentally go over and step on it. No sightings so far, so.
Oh, that's I would say the clapping, is that the equivalent of us yelling, "Hey, bear," when we're walking in the woods, I guess? Yeah.
Just get them scared so they know something's around.
Well, and that's it. So, sorry, go ahead,
Great.
Sophia.
Oh no, I'm just saying I got here and I knew the courses would be cool, but it's really cool to play in like eucalyptus groves with, as we mentioned, the live wildlife, but the birds, they're pretty chatty here and they make some pretty funny noises like that, like don't sound like birds to me.
Right.
So, like, who is that? Like looking around and then, but they're chatty and it's it's cool to play in a totally different terrain from back home. It's been a treat.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
And Sophia, would you have got... Oh, go ahead.
The flies, they're actually like chill. They like come and land on your... They're not even trying to bite you. They're just like, that's flies. Come and hang out and then leave.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know. They're annoying, but like...
They are...
It's like, why do you keep doing what you want from me?
Oh, that's interesting.
Any highlights? I mean, like,
The
all
course.
the teams have been so kind. And
Yes. All the matchups have been really, really awesome. It's respectful, happy, nice, and the matches have been really exciting. Like back and forth. And 9 holes is not a lot of time, so you got to be on your game. And like every point, it matters a lot more than on an 18-hole matchup. So just kind of getting used to that, and it's been a ton of fun.
Awesome.
That's awesome. And then just before we let you go there too, so Sophia, we know that you love your disc golf in that as well, but did you happen to get your hands on a mountain bike and get some chance to tour around that way, or is that for after the tournament?
I'm picking one up on Sunday, don't worry.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing posts of that. And thank you to all 3 of you and everyone on the team who has been putting posts out there, because most of this is just following a spreadsheet right now. So until Team Canada gets to have, hopefully have a filmed event, what you're putting out there is what we're seeing, and we're loving every minute of it.
yeah, and we want to especially thank all the people who supported us and paid for any of the Team Canada merch that we had going on, or supported anyone individually. It's a huge reason why we can even make it. There's a lot of countries that have a lot of support and a lot more paid for, so a lot of us are here on our own grind. So we really appreciate anyone that put anything in. And we'll be looking forward to hopefully fundraising earlier for the next one, which we got told was in Latvia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little spoiler alert. So that's exciting. So anyone interested, get your rating up, and anyone looking to creative ways to fundraise, so reach out to us. And thank you so much to the people who have and the people who are watching.
Yeah, and just share our content. I try to put like the more I can on the Canada's Golf Association page, the Facebook and the Instagram. So if we can share and let people know what we are doing, it will be just more easy for us for the next trip.
And I don't know if we did mention that the top 6 teams are invited to the World Games next year. So we are not just playing for first place here, but playing for a spot to be involved in that next year as well.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And if I remember right, I think the World Games are in Chengdu, China, and that's also kind of a precursor to hopefully start getting disc golf towards the Olympics, is what I understand as well.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, that's a it's a big deal for a lot of countries to have representation there. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We won't keep you any longer because I'm sure it's time to go celebrate and have a good time and, be proud that that first round is over and start strategizing and get ready for the next one. So thank you so much for joining us. And we're so excited to watch you and to cheer you on some more.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Not a problem. Thank you for joining. We appreciate your time.
Bye.
Thanks. Good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Wow, Darryl.
Wow. Look at that.
I'm going to tell you, if we're calling this season 2, if that's what this is, how does it get better than talking to Team Canada and 3 of the biggest FPO players all at the same time in Australia?
I know. We put it out there that it was kind of a big idea.
Yeah.
We worked out the time difference. Could we possibly get to speak to them in Australia? And it worked out that it was almost perfect. It was like first thing in the morning. It wasn't too late in the afternoon or too early.
There was one thing, though, that I'll tell you, is we looked at this last week, and we thought they were 14 hours ahead.
Yeah.
And I was so glad last night when I was sending out the email, I checked again, because Australia does not subscribe to daylight savings time. So there's an extra hour there. It's actually
Right.
13 hours ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, we were thinking, okay, maybe we can get some of the players out there. Maybe we can, if that's not we obviously know they're going to be prepping and they're going to have a way more important things to be thinking about than maybe trying to have a chat to 2 amateur disc golfers that just want to bug people and ask them stupid questions. But then to actually, get confirmation that we were going to speak to Karen and Chris, and at least we would have some feedback of how the tournament is going and how the matches have been going and things like that. Then to top it all off, to get Sophia and Colleen just to the timing worked out great. They just finished their matches and were able to jump on as well.
Yes.
That was awesome. It was a fitting end to a great show.
Yes, and I think what we should do at this point is I want to throw, thank you to definitely tell the guests. Thank you very much to Colleen, because when I had reached out to her with the idea that we had of seeing if maybe we could talk to them live, she said immediately when I talked to her, she said, if I can make it work, I will make it work. And this whole time she's planning the plane and that, but she understood the importance of getting this content out to, it's not just our listeners. We hope this reaches the broad audience. That's what we want, is we want everyone to see about Canadian disc golf. So thanks to Colleen for organizing that. Thanks to her partner, Chris, who's down there in such a support role. Like, I'm sure that role is almost sometimes maybe even heavier, right? Because what you want the players to do is you want the players to be able to show up and just play their game and to focus solely on their game. So I'm sure Chris and Jamie and the other people there are helping to manage everything else around it. So thanks to them. Thanks to Karen Martel and Sophia Donica for jumping in there too. I'm smiling ear to ear, buddy.
I know, it was amazing. It was more than we could have expected. That's not, they say shoot for the stars and you get the moon thrown in for free.
I always heard it was shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you're amongst the stars.
Oh, well, either one works.
I think they do. I think they both apply.
Yeah.
And other things that apply is please apply yourself to, if you like this content, to like, to follow, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of those things have helped us grow to this point where we are now, and it will just help us grow even more and to have more of these great interviews, more great content, more great giveaways, all these different things that we're trying to do for the Canadian disc golf.
Absolutely. Well, Jeremy, this is the first portion of the new setup for the new season of Chain Out Podcast. We mentioned it last episode that we were going to do things a little bit different this season.
Yes.
Things are still evolving, but the way that we're going to be doing it now is that we're going to be doing the interview. We're still going to keep the interview in, but we're going to be limiting the first portion of the podcast to an hour.
Which is right about where
which
we are
is
at.
about right where we are right now. Then I'm going to put the link in the chat. So if you're listening back, I'm sorry you've missed it.
But
we're going to be heading over. We'll still be on YouTube. I've just sent out a link to anyone who's watching. We're going to be on an unlisted video. It's going to be private. We're still going to do another hour podcast, so we'll still have the 2 hours. But the second hour is going to be a bit less formal. It'll be a little bit, we're going to have some guests on. We're going to have a bit more discussion about disc golf. maybe some hot takes, maybe some quizzes, maybe it's a little bit more free flow.
You're going to see a mixed bag of things as we work it out, and it's going to be fun, and we're going to take your feedback, and we're going to just create an even better disc golf conversation for you.
So hopefully, for now, for the first couple weeks, this second half of the podcast is going to be free, but we are going to kind of try and put it into a Patreon, which we've started. Hopefully, we can try and do something with that.
Yes.
We've had it for a while. We've never used it, so we're trying to see if we can evolve the podcast.
And what we're thinking right now is the Patreon would allow you to have access to that link that we're doing for free right now, where you can be part of the conversation. You can watch it live right after the interview episode. But after that, it will be posted up probably on Fridays, free for anybody to watch, but it'll be not the live version.
Yeah. There'll be no interaction for you.
Yeah. You'll get to watch what the interaction was.
Yeah. And there'll be other perks and things like that, like some behind the scenes footage, chances of voting on guests, behind the scenes notes. If we ever do a tournament, you'll get priority access to things like that. Merch, maybe there'll be some discounts for merch, Jeremy. You never know.
And we'll take your
Patreon
feedback.
will have its benefits.
Yeah. What do you want to see in that Patreon? Let us know. We'll take it into consideration.
Well, Jeremy, I think we should just end it there.
Yeah, we should. Should we end it the way we always
end
it? I don't
know. It feels kind of weird.
I want to say maybe let's end it with a cheers and then that.
Okay.
So cheers to the first episode.
Cheers. First episode's done. Thanks to Team Canada.
Well, we got to drink when you cheers.
What are we doing?
And chain out.
Thanks, everybody.